Sorry about that. For some reason, my phone just quit. The video stopped. The screen recorder stopped playing. So it just stopped. So anyways, here we have, I was talking about oddness in the phone that I know that the Anglicans and third-party associates that are collaborating with the Anglicans hack our phones, hack our networks, and hack our computers for no reason. Here's an example. Like here in apps, I have uh, contacts disabled, and here contact storage is almost at 0.91 megabytes. Now I don't have any contacts stored. If you look at phone, I don't have any information here. Oh, that one Washington call. I made a Google account last night and I requested that Google send me a phone call instead of a text message to verify my account. And for some reason, I got a call from Washington, D.C. Rather, I thought I would have got one here from Australia. But I've got no contacts. I've got no information. I've got nothing on speed dial. And yet still, the contacts information in settings says that it's almost 1 megabyte of data. Sometimes it goes up to 2 megabytes. So that's the kind of stuff that I was talking about. Like it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes, for example, I will have 0 bytes when I shut my phone off, and when I start my phone up, I'll have 5 megabytes. One time, 300, close to 400 megabytes of data just appeared out of nowhere for no reason at all. So I'm certain that the Anglicans here at Moore Theological Bible College, that they engaged in hacking. When we first moved here, our unit was we were harassed right from day one. Our unit door was open. There were footprints all over the floor. The real estate agent said that he did it, but I don't think it was. The third party guy that I talked about, that I think works for the or helps, has a relationship with the Anglican Church. He was parked in our space. He wouldn't move. I had to ask him like 8 times to move out, and finally he comes out in front of my unit, spits in front of my unit, and oh, I'm feeling really not feeling very good. Sorry, I'm just tired. And he wouldn't move his car. Didn't want to move his car. Anyways, so from day one there was like harassment and you know, disdainful behavior on all the people, almost all the students here. There was a couple bullies, some computer hackers. So the neighbor next door, he was a graduate from Adelaide University. He is a mathematician. So they actively engaged in scratched our car, broke into the unit. Like I'd walk away. I'd go away and leave the unit unattended. I'd come back, and there'd be black scuff marks on the ground that weren't there before, on the tiles, and they weren't there before. Like somebody dragged their boots on the floor, and this was happening. This happened quite a bit. So I don't know. There's so many people involved that one person can do one thing and nobody else knows about it, and everybody else supports everybody blindly. Nobody questions anybody blindly. It's like a cult, and they basically get away with whatever they want to do. I know for a fact that they accessed our surveillance system and deleted it remotely, so they had a way into that, and the surveillance system has no wireless, and it wasn't hooked up to the internet, so they were using a backdoor. Now, how did they access that? How did they access our computers when I removed the wireless card and the Bluetooth card, yet they were still accessing them remotely? They were touching files, they were accessing files and modifying times, changing file system attributes, etc., etc. So uh, it goes on and on and on and on. Evidence of remote access to the system. Since I moved here, I've not had one sane system, and one computer was destroyed twice, wiped out twice. All the data on it was wiped out when someone entered our unit, I think, and then attached an Android phone to the USB, and I think that's how they did it. Um, they may have done it remotely. I don't know. But evidence was on the a .android file was on the computer indicating that someone connected a file or an Android to it, and the handshake fingerprints were placed in the .android file. So there's a whole bunch of evidence, and any real evidence that is found, they delete immediately, remotely, and they've accessed our cameras, they've accessed our computers, they've accessed our NVR network video recorder. That wasn't on the network, it was air-gapped. They've on all of our computers were air-gapped, and they've accessed all our phones. So I think there's a definite state-government relationship, and I think the government of Australia uses members within the Anglican Church, and uses these members in their supposed national defense schemes. The people in the church are easily controlled, they're brainwashed, and they're not going to go against the church, because that would mean their entire life was thrown away. They're not going to leave the church because the church is their whole life. They get all their perks from the church, and they get all their benefits from the church, and they get their money from the church. The people that work in the church, they're paid by the church. So, I mean, all the students here, all they want is their, good tax-free job so they can live in a nice white picket fence house, a nice house with a white picket fence, right? And get their property and send their kids to private school. So, anyways, that's what this whole thing was about. Backdoor into the phones. I'm guessing there's a backdoor into anything, and devices that they can make. I think it's designed to be remotely accessed, and the devices are intentionally and designed that way. And I think that members of the government, actors in the government and in the churches know all about this, and they're pro for it. They coordinate together, and they utilize these backdoors to benefit their own agendas. Thanks, and have a good day.